Greetings, family. This is Leah, Salmon, the Naturally You coach. First and foremost, if you haven't already got your ticket for the Black Women's Health Day, this Sunday, literally in like 4 days' time, please go ahead and head over to blackwomenshealthday.com and book your advanced tickets now. Secondly, I wanted to let you know about what I've been reading. So I've been reading this book called Omega-3 Connection, How You Can Restore Your Mental Well-Being and Beat Memory Loss and Depression by Andrew L. Stoll. Now, I've been aware for a very long time. I mean, literally, since I first started learning about nutrition, fats and oils have fascinated me because I obviously grew up thinking fats and oils were the worst thing in the world through media and things like that. Everything had to be fat-free. Then when I started learning about nutrition and essential fatty acids, they literally fascinated me, especially because they had such an impact on womb health. And that's where my journey into natural health started, is me trying to heal myself with my womb health challenges. So I'm always like researching and trying to find out more about specific nutrients that I can use to help the general well-being of the clients that I'm working with. So whilst my foremost focus when it comes to working with clients is making sure that they've got a foundationary diet that basically fuels their body's natural intelligence and that fuels their body's natural instincts to grow, repair, and heal itself. Once we've got that solid foundation, then it's useful to know what other specific nutrients we can add more of, depending on the specific health challenges that clients have. And a lot of the clients that I work with do have anxiety and, mental health challenges in some way, shape or form. So I wanted to research a bit more about omega-3. And while I was reading this amazing book on omega-3, it literally said, in medical, so this was written by a doctor, it said, in medical school, I was taught that if you can understand diabetes, you will understand all of medicine, because those with diabetes fall prey to many other disorders, from cardiac disease to kidney failure to stroke. And then he goes on to say, similarly, if you understand bipolar disease, which is what he studied, then you understand all of psychiatry, because the symptoms of bipolar are quite vast. The way that it presents itself is quite vast. And this reminded me, obviously, of the fact that on Sunday, one of our speakers is a sister called Abigail, registered nurse, Abigail Moroquinho, and she's going to be doing a talk on holistic diabetes prevention and reversal. Now, when I started learning more about raw food, one of the most, I think, probably influential documentaries that I watched was called Simply Raw, Reversing Diabetes in 30 Days. And that basically followed the journey of people who had been either diagnosed with type 2 or type 1 diabetes, and they went on a raw food diet for 30 days, and the vast majority of them were able to reverse it, basically. So I've always been keen to share that more in depth in an event, and this seemed the ideal event, because whilst this is the fourth event, this is specifically called the Black Women's Health Day, and unfortunately Black women, Asian women, and Black and Asian children are still the demographic that are predominantly hit with diabetes. So because this is the Black Women's Health Day, I really wanted to focus and highlight how we can specifically prevent, before it even gets there. Let's prevent it. Let's live a lifestyle that prevents us from developing these diseases in the first place, because unfortunately we are living in a world where there's a pill for every ill. So we're quite aware of the fact that if I get a headache, I can just take a pill to get rid of the pain. If I get period pains, I can just take some Feminax or some aspirin or some paracetamol or whatever it is, to get rid of those pains as well. If I gain too much weight and I want to lose it really quickly, I can take some slimming tablets, or if I know that I haven't been eating properly, I can take a bowel blaster and cleanse myself out. We are and even if I get skin conditions and things like that, I can slap on makeup. We are very used to not having to look after ourselves and then taking something to get rid of the symptoms of what it is that we're dealing with, as opposed to adopting lifestyle habits that just prevent us from getting these things in the first place. Now, don't get me wrong. I grew up on my diet when I was growing up was a typical diet of most Caribbean children. But as a teenager, I was a junk food vegetarian. I still have challenges and addictions and cravings. Like, there's certain things that if I eat it once, that's it. That's me eating it every few times a week for at least a few months before I can reset my body. Like, I'm very aware of the how challenging it can be to make those lifestyle changes. But the lifestyle changes that I have committed to do make it easier for me to live a life where I do basically have like really good energy levels on a regular basis. I don't get sick maybe more than like maybe once or twice a year. In fact, I'm not even sure the last time I got sick like that. I don't have period pains anymore. I don't have the big mental, emotional mood swings and those kind of things anymore. And it's not because I live a pristine lifestyle or have a pristine diet. It's just that I've adopted certain habits that I know are going to help me prevent certain things from happening to me. Because trust me, my worst fear is living in pain. That's my worst fear. I've had 7 deliveries. I've delivered 7 babies. I have had toothache, and I don't even know what's worse at a toothache and delivering babies right about now, but I've had both of those things, and there was times I would literally do anything to get rid of the pain. Obviously, when you're in childbirth, you know it's going to come to an end very soon, but toothache, oh my goodness. And then when I'm in pain, I start thinking of everybody else who's in pain, and then I'm like, there's people that live with pain. I can't, like, the thought of that is horrendous to me. So with diabetes, as we know, diabetes is a lot more, and that's the thing, maybe we don't know this. So when people think of things like menopause, we're thinking, oh, it's just hot flushes. It's not just hot flushes. There's so much that comes with menopause. But again, menopause doesn't need to be something that we live with. It doesn't need to be an expected thing. It doesn't have to be something that we just anticipate is going to come at some moment. We can do things now to prevent ourselves from experiencing the challenges of menopause. The same thing with periods. Periods don't have to be this horrible thing that's definitely going to cause you problems, and you're definitely going to be in pain and moody and having cravings and all these kind of things. We can teach our children from young how they can prevent these things, or at the very least limit these things from becoming a reality for them. And the same thing with diabetes. Just because so many of our elders are being hit with and afflicted with diabetes, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a given that just because you've got diabetes in your family, it's gonna come to you. Because one of the things that I was taught by my spiritual teacher and master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, was that the hereditary diseases aren't hereditary because you just get them. It's when you copy the behavior of those in your family who develop those diseases and conditions, that's when you're likely to get them. That's why you will have the person in the family that doesn't get all the illnesses that everybody else gets. And they're normally the people that have decided to make a change and not follow the pattern. Human beings are beings of example. When we see our parents turning to drink or having a slice of cake or smoking a fag when they get stressed, when we get older and we get stressed, we're likely to do the same thing. If there was a particular birthday dinner or birthday cake or comfort meal that we used to have as a child, again, we're going to copy that behavior as adults. If, loving, caring, cuddly up time, you remember that as a child, sitting and eating ice cream and drinking and eating crisps and drinking fizzy drinks and watching a movie with your parents. When you want snuggly up time, those are the kind of things that you're going to end up doing as well. So, but it's not difficult to break a habit and create a new paradigm for yourself. And again, with diabetes, the reason I read the quote from the book is that diabetes manifests itself in so many ways. When I was looking for an expert to come and talk on diabetes, a lady that I spoke to who was, I think, otherwise engaged and wasn't able to do it, she said to me, even though I'm not able to do it, please make sure you have someone there who is a podiatrist, someone who helps with feet care, because that's one of the things that affects diabetes greatly. But there are so many other things that affect diabetes, and it can become a very painful disease. And you don't die from diabetes, you die from all of the symptoms. You can end up in hospital from the symptoms, all the things that having that inability for your body to regulate the blood sugar properly can cause. It can have detrimental effects, like the book said, from everything from stroke to kidney failure. But it doesn't have to be the reality, and it certainly doesn't have to be the reality for our sisters, and we can ensure that it's not a reality for the young women that we have coming up. So I'm so glad to have registered nurse Abigail Morakinyo, who's going to be coming and talking to you about diabetes prevention in the first place and holistic reversal. So again, if you haven't bought your ticket for the Black Women's Health Day, please go ahead and check out blackwomenshealthday.com, and I look forward to seeing you. And remember, the first 100 women that come in get a free love-filled goodie bag. Take care and stay healthy.